So guys, I just want to say something. All right. This is something I don't really say as much, but it's the truth. I love Marvel Legends. Despite what everybody else says about it, and yes, obviously it's a huge toy line that has a lot of big problems, right? But so does every other toy companies, and we could try to deal with it, or if it's like a big issue, we try to voice our concerns, whatever. It's all good. And obviously, I've talked about a couple times on my channel that I kind of wanted to basically step away and not talk about Marvel Legends, news so much, mostly because I feel like a lot of you know, when it comes to like fans and stuff like that, you get like this weird sort of toxic notion behind it. I don't know what it is. It's like every time something new comes out, Marvel Legends related, it seems like people always gotta be smart asses and always got something to say. I'm just gonna say it. All right, I'm gonna be blunt with it you know? And I think I could be honest about it because, like I said, I haven't really talked about any sort of Marvel Legends content in a while. I haven't even done any toy reviews of it in a little bit, only because I don't know why I have this weird, genuine fear that if I were to talk about something Marvel Legends, related, whatever, and if I like, what they got going on, I'm gonna get people kind of all over me. It's happened to me before, but obviously I don't really like to talk about it because, it's petty and it's dumb, but at the same time, you get people that get upset over the most dumbest things. Like recently, there's the new announcement from Hasbro Pulse that we're finally going to be getting a Giant Man figure, which I think is great. I think that that's perfect, obviously, and for the most part, I think as of now, as of the recording of this video, I don't think it's reached its goal yet, but I'm not too sure. I hope it does, though. I think it's great that we're finally you know, getting a very big essential character, especially when it comes to the Avengers. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you want to have the classic Avengers in your collection? I mean, come on, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Obviously, I'm trying to get like like your basic Captain America. I got all like the weird variants and stuff like that. I'm okay with that, but at the same time, it's always great to collect the OG Avengers, and that's fantastic, right? Especially when it comes to like the movements and all that. And that's what we're gonna talk about today with articulation, because I'm sorry to say now it's all come down to this, right? The toe articulation argument, where obviously for quite some time, I mean, I know this is kind of old news. I mean, this is kind of old, kind of new, but I'll explain along the way. So, yeah, because of how articulated these Marvel Legend figures are, I mean, for each one you get, they always got like a nice sort of kind of movement to it. So of course, a lot of people were generally happy when we started getting figures with toe articulations again. Especially with the Spider-Man stuff, because obviously Spider-Man's like a very flexible type character, and you know what? I'm just gonna take him off my shelf right now. So obviously, he was definitely like one of those first figures when they finally brought back that sort of articulation. Now, obviously, it does make a pretty huge difference to a certain extent, you know, and I think that's great. So obviously, people want that to be incorporated into future figures, which I think that's great, and I think that's also understandable because, like I say, this is not the first time that we've gotten Marvel Legend figures that has toe articulation. Even during like the old days of Toy Biz, there were like maybe a couple of figures that probably had the toe articulation. I can't really say from the top of my head, obviously, because each figures always vary. Like Thing and and all that, they always got like those weird stuff going on with their fingers. It's either separately articulated or it's like a wire in it or something. I don't know. But you get the point, right? People want that because, look, our figures are getting extremely expensive. So if they're going to keep getting more and more priced up, at least add a little bit more for what we're getting. So, of course, it makes sense as to why people might want it. I'm pretty simple. Okay, it's whether we get them in our future figures or we don't. I don't really care, But obviously, when it comes to the pricing issue, because that's still something that a lot of people, dislike to this day. Obviously, I mean, these figures they went up. They used to be from like $20 to like 22, and now they're 24.99. And look, it pains me a lot too. It really does. I enjoy these figures so much. And it's always so painful where I can't buy a whole bunch. If I end up buying two, that's pretty much like that's more than $50 right there. So it's like, okay, I understand. But what I don't really understand is that why do we got to this point where now people are literally getting upset over like toe articulations and stuff like that? Because you get like both sides of the debate, right? You get some people that are like, oh, big deal. Some people are like, oh, it is a huge deal. And a couple of people, of course, for years voiced their opinions that they wanted toe articulation, for their figures. So today I stumbled upon a video by Shartimus Prime. So he's a YouTuber. Obviously, he's been around for a really really long time. I enjoy his content. Obviously, it's not just Marvel Legends stuff he reviews, obviously, but you get the point, right? He's been around for a very very long time. So he put out a new video which I thought was interesting, and I'm just gonna kind of scroll all the way up. It's called toe articulation requests. Wow, I can't talk today. Toe articulation request receipts. Marvel Legends Hasbro interview clips from 2015 to 2021. So obviously, after kind of well, my first impression before watching the video obviously was, are people getting mad at him or for something now? I mean, well, what's the deal here? And obviously, because I was always so tired of like people, getting so amped up over this type of stuff, I was like, nah, I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was a big deal really. But then after watching the video, and I was like, I'm still kind of like cutting a blank a little bit. I'm like, guess I'm still kind of process what's been going on. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna assume that maybe somebody must have talked crap about him or something, or maybe I don't know. Listen, I'm kind of dumb. No matter how many times I watch the video, I still can't really kind of get a good idea as to what the hell's going on. So it's like, why are people mad at Shartimus all of a sudden, right? But then I go through the comments, and I really shouldn't, but then I stumbled upon something that was kind of interesting, where you see, I'm just trying to scroll down just to show you guys proof, so that way I'm not lying. Obviously, I'm, right, hold up. Even with the brightness lowered down, for some odd reason on my phone, it's like super bright. So you see, this is the page. I'm just kind of scrolling up, and see, it's the Shartimus Prime video I was telling you guys about. Obviously no issues with him. Obviously, I don't want to cause any sort of beef or anything. I'm just trying to voice my concerns, basically, over what's going on. I'm basically like the equivalent to like a toy therapist or something. Let's be honest. That's pretty much what I do at this point. Whenever there's some weird, stupid stuff going on within the community, and it's like, bro, I just want to enjoy my toys. That's how I try to look at it. So what I found interesting in the comments, so you see, Dan, I'm gonna get his name wrong, Danny. Dan Un is trying something like that, right? So obviously he's one of the people that work with the team of at with Hasbro and Marvel Legends. So I guess he kind of voiced his concern over what happened. So I'm just going to read what he wrote and then give you guys sort of an idea. So this is what he wrote. So all right. Russ, I hope you get all the love and credit you feel you deserve. I already mentioned and commented on X Manny's videos to clarify on what Ryan said on the fan stream. No one is taking away your influence or discrediting your popularity. So by that, I guess I'm assuming that, maybe he was, of course, an advocate for wanting to add more of the articulations, especially around the toes. And I'm guessing maybe he's not getting credit for it or something like that. Ryan was just mentioning that within the room we decide stuff. I have been one of the biggest proponents. Hold on. Proponents. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm very sorry. Of more articulation for figures and especially toe articulation. Ryan's comment wasn't trying to say that I was the only person that ever asked for toe articulation, so no one is trying to discredit you. Honestly, he was trying to mention that to hold on. He wasn't trying to mention that to discredit anyone. He was trying to give a shout out to me since I wasn't at the fan stream. I think it's a little presumptuous to say that you deserve all the credit for the toe articulation as well, since that's not true either. I don't appreciate you trying to use a clip from our interview to discredit me for some reason. It's very clear that I'm sorry, not toe, that the toy community deserves all the credit, and our line wouldn't be the same without people like you continue to communicate with us. Only love and respect, but I think you're misunderstanding the situation. Hope you get the credit for all the work. So obviously, now that you kind of read that, you see, it's one of those things where like you watch the actual video and then you're slightly confused, but it's like once you read the comments, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, not really. So it seems like I guess Shardamus, he wasn't necessarily getting like the credit for voicing his opinions on like how the story should be better and all that. Which okay, fine, I get that. Look, I'm kind of like that to an extent, right? I want like my favorite toys to, of course, become better over time. Especially if you're spending a lot of money over it. So of course, I understand that. So I'm guessing what's happening here is, guess he wasn't getting credit for it, or at least people were just kind of talking shit about him and he's taking it personal. I don't know. I'm the type of person that I try to like walk into this stuff with a grain of salt. I don't like to jump into conclusions or anything. I'm not trying to say who's good and who's bad here. You know, I'm the reason why I'm very concerned, because it's like, how do we get to this point where now we're arguing with Marvel Legends over toe articulation now? I'm a little bit lost here, you know? I guess it's kind of ironic because I mentioned the thing with Giant Man, and he literally has like finger articulation, which is really cool. So that way, when he holds on to the figures, you know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I don't know. And of course, like I say, Dan, he works with the Marvel Legends team. Obviously, I know he's mostly active on Twitter, or I should say X now, which I still think is a stupid name, but that's just my opinion. Somebody did wrote a reply to it. I won't mention this person's name, but I guess the comment wrote, "This is exactly how I look at it. It really seems that Russ misunderstood slash misheard what was said on the stream and unnecessarily took it personally. Maybe. And before I move on, I try to do some digging too. I try to make sure that this really was Dan. Okay, yeah, so I was right. Okay, Dan Yun. Okay, yeah, yeah. I was very afraid I was gonna get the name wrong. I really don't want. I don't like to do that. You know what I mean? So okay, doesn't really. He has no videos on the channel, which is fine. He's probably busy and all that. I just wanted to kind of make sure, this was legit. You know what I mean? I don't want to make this video and then it's not. You know what I mean? It's like I hate that we kind of got to this point now within this toy, or the toy community, where it's like, there's misunderstanding, there's a lot of things kind of thrown in the mix, and it's like I kind of miss it when this stuff used to be fun, because I remember there was a time where I feel like people have gotten so crazy and berserk over what Hasbro was doing with the toy line, to where it didn't really felt fun anymore. But it's like I can't really blame the figures themselves, right? You can't get mad at the toys for existing. You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to be mad at this? You know what I mean? I can understand maybe like in some circumstances, but like I don't know. It feels weird. You know what I mean? It's like, who's to blame here? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, fine. So when they did the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, his vehicle or whatever, and that was extremely expensive. Obviously, people didn't really like that, and I can see why, because paying like $350 just for that, yeah, it's a bit much. Okay, but then it's like you get people that like they like, oh, oh, I hate Marvel Legends, f that, the shills, whatever, and then it's like, I don't even know I don't even know where I'm going with this no more. I feel like this is turning into a whole different conversation. But you guys get the point, right? There's always something going wrong with this toy line. I'm like, come on now. It's like the figures itself. It's like there isn't really anything wrong with them. It's just like, I get it. Reusing sculpts and all that. It's lazy. Okay, I get it. Seeing reissues of older figures, that might piss off some people, but for people like me, it's not a big deal, because and another example too was the Infinity Saga figures, where they basically re-released some of their older figures, but now they're slightly better and of course updated, which is good for me because I don't have most of those figures. But for people that already do have those figures, obviously they see it as like a waste. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't really feel like that's something to really complain about. Plus, we're already getting a whole bunch of good figures to begin with, so I'm like, I'm still at a loss. It's like, are we just kind of making up bullshit just to make up bullshit now? I'm very confused. You know what I mean? I don't even know where this video is going at this point. I'm just gonna end it here, honestly. I'm just saying, now we're arguing over like toe articulation. It's like, I think this is really dumb. Is there a point to all this? Maybe. I don't know. So again, this is not meant to slander anyone. I'm not trying to draw hate towards anybody. I just want to, of course, like I said, voice my concerns. And, I'm like, come on now. We're arguing over toes now, I mean, what's going to be next? What's going to be the next thing within Marvel Legends now? I mean, come on now. I'm still going to enjoy the toy line for what it is. I don't care what people say, all right? But, of course, like I say, The only reason why I don't talk about Marvel Legends stuff so much as I would like to, is because obviously people get petty over the most dumbest things. And I even remember too. I don't know. I forgot who it was. I remember there was another YouTuber. I think he was voicing his opinion on like the Giant Man figure, and I guess someone was like talking smack about him or something, or maybe that he was saying something that he said and it wasn't true. I don't know. I'll get more to that at a different time, because I do want to talk about Giant Man. Honestly, I really do. I generally think that that's like such a really nice figure for what it is. So at least that's a nice little positive video because I know today was a bit of a negative one. So besides that, I guess that's it. I don't got nothing else to say. Like I said, I don't even know why I'm making this video. It's just it's just weird. But it is what it is, I guess. So, of course, what do you guys think? Do you guys kind of get what I mean? Are you a little bit confused? Let me know, and then we'll kind of investigate that a little more further. So until then, so expect a new toy review this week for the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem Splinter action figure. And of course, after a very long time, I'm gonna upload, my new gameplay of I'm on my walkthroughs obviously because you guys know that I used to do Doom gaming and all that and I stopped, but I'm trying to return to doing more gaming content, so of course expect that hopefully either Thursday or Friday. So until then, hope you guys stay safe out there. Leave a like, subscribe, dislike if you dislike, and that's about it. So see ya.